Some fighters never reach the pinnacle of winning a world title. Other success simply play out by what they learn from the sport, about themselves, and who they become along the way. In some cases, their greatest successes come after the bell. That is the story of gentleman Gerry Cooney. This episode of A Fighting Life is brought to you by Untitled Boxing. Raised in Long Island, New York, Cooney was no stranger to conflict.
I grew up in a rough, tough, alcoholic household. You know, my father was abused, and he didn't learn about it, so he did the same thing. 5 brothers and sisters. We all kind of had our own hiding places. And I learned a lot of negative things growing up, and I never could express myself. You know, if I raised my voice, I got beat, so I stayed in the back of the room, and that carried across into school. And what happened to me, I found out at 16, I went into the Golden Gloves, and I remember I won the middleweight championship at 16 in the state of New York, which is a very big thing. I had 7 fights, 5 knockouts, and I remember what happened was it helped me to express the anger I felt becoming a fighter for what was happening to me in my house. You know, it was just, it was a place I could express myself, and nobody could tell me no. I could express myself, and nobody could tell me, no, you can't do that. And then they put my picture in the paper, so it made me somebody, so it fed me, and little did I know, later on it kept me alive. But and then somewhere down the road, it also, they had a self-sabotage mechanism involved in it that would come out later on.
After turning professional in 1977, Cooney quickly grabbed the attention of the boxing world with his vicious style and legendary left hook.
Gerry Cooney is the first heavyweight that's come along in years that when he hits you, he puts lumps on you. When you get in there with Cooney, you get hit and you get hurt.
Gerry Cooney, who I think has the best left hand in the history of the heavyweight division.
I think Gerry Cooney has marvelous potential.
When I got into the ring, it was life and death. It was me or him. I had to get my point across. I had to protect myself. Nobody else was going to take care of me. And boxing, that proved to be true for me.
Some critics remained unconvinced, in spite of the excitement that surrounded Cooney. A matchup against boxing legend Ken Norton was also an opportunity to silence those critics.
On the Cooney side, you have a young fighter who has not been really tested as far as we know.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised, eventually, if Norton wins the fight.
What about Gerry Cooney? To be sure, he is inexperienced. He has never fought more than 8 rounds. He has fought only 86 total rounds in his professional career. They say he is a one-handed fighter. They say they don't know if he can take
I'm thinking, my God, this guy's going to kill me tonight.
Whether he decides to go after the #1 challenger. 10 rounds, 3 knockdown rule is in effect. The bell cannot save either man. A right hand buckled the knees of Norton by Gerry Cooney. First punch of the fight buckled Norton's knee. Norton is hurt in his own corner. Cooney trying to measure him. Misses 2 uppercuts, but scores with combinations of left hand, Norton straight up. Norton is about to drop. Norton is on his knees and finally slumps in the corner. He is not going to get up from this. The fight is over in 54 seconds. And if there was ever any doubt as to the punching power of Gerry Cooney, Ray Leonard, I think that doubt was put to bed right here.
You know, every paper the next day, 54 seconds in the first round, 4 punches from death. And I believe that was true because he was out, he was sitting on the second rope, he couldn't fall, and the referee had a career of letting fights go a little long. And so, anyway, he survived, and I won, ranked #1 in the world, and gonna get a shot for the biggest prize in the world, the heavyweight championship of the world.
A championship that wouldn't come easy because Larry Holmes was the man standing in the way.
We're gonna knock out Gerry Cooney so we can bring the title back home.
But as Cooney was preparing for the fight of his life, he was also fighting the same battle his father once had.
I started drinking at 12. What people don't realize that when you have alcoholism in your family, you're much more prone to develop it. And as I grew up, I really took care of, watched out for myself because I wanted to not let that happen to me. You know, I think as the pressure grows and your stardom grows, there's a crazy line in between there. and you think you deserve it, you get caught up, and you're around people that you feel a little bit shy around, so you drink a little bit, and that hole goes away you had here all your life. I talk about that I've had this hole all my life that when you pick up a couple of drinks, the hole goes away. You feel like you fit in, you're funny, people like you, and that at a young age happened to me. You just, before you know it, you got it, and you don't know how to get out of it. I had nobody to depend on. Family was a problem for me, managers were a problem. Couldn't trust nobody. That's what I learned growing up. And so when you have all that, the sound is so loud, you just want to get out of the pain. You don't want to feel it. And what you do is you self-sabotage yourself, and you create this problem that you're not aware of is happening, and then before you know it, you're in it. Because when you're a young kid like that, you think you got the world. No one can, I'm in control of this, but you're not. You're losing it, and that's what happened to me.
Despite Cooney's ongoing struggle with alcoholism, he managed to successfully complete his training camp. He was ready to give Holmes the fight of his life.
Remember, protect yourself at all times. Cooney is a guy who has not gone past the first 3 minutes of a fight in his last 2 outings. Both men wearing white trunks. Cooney with a clover leaf. Red trim on Larry Holmes. Cooney trying to jab. Took a good right hand that time from Holmes. And Cooney took a good right hand from Holmes. He staggers and is down. Cooney is down from a right hand by Larry Holmes. He is back up, and he is on rubber legs, Ray.
This will be the round. I see that Cooney legs are still rubbery, and without question, Larry Holmes is going to take advantage of this opportunity and get Gerry Cooney out of there.
End of round 2. Larry Holmes, Ray, being very patient after he had his man down. Obviously, he didn't think he was hurting that bad. That was a good left hand by Cooney, and it stunned Holmes momentarily. And another good left hand by the challenger. Cooney scored to the cheek that time. This is round 3. At this point, I think each man has the other's respect.
And he saw an opening, and he wants to get to it.
That was a right hand to the ribs that time that seemed to hurt Holmes a little bit.
Well, again, Larry's flat-footed. I think he wants for Cooney to exert himself.
Holmes took 3 good shots that time from Cooney. Holmes again, still flat-footed. Now he gets up on his toes. And a right hand, and that backs up Cooney. Cooney goes downstairs. Caught that one on gloves, did Holmes. There's a right hand so far with the right hand. There was a right to the body, right hand lead.
Those were good punches by Gerry Cooney.
Cooney a good left to the body that time. Just keeps him off him. So let's see if Larry Holmes, there was a good right hand. Cooney really the aggressor. A right hand to the head that time by Cooney. And a left to the head of Larry Holmes as Cooney comes alive here.
He seemed to be refreshed. A new fighter.
Cooney forcing the action, and Holmes is providing a stationary target. There's a right hand by Holmes. And another right hand. And now Cooney reels into the corner.
In a few seconds, the round ended. Before the round ended, Gerry Cooney and Larry Holmes both unleashing a series of punches.
Gerry Cooney has answered all the skeptics tonight. He is worthy of being here, win or lose. Cooney's legs are really wobbly.
Cooney's really gone now. He's really gone.
Cooney very wobbly in the center of the ring. Takes another right hand. Holmes knows he has his man in trouble. Another right hand. And that eye is really opened up. Combinations of punches thrown by the champion against Gerry Cooney. This one is all but over. Cooney against the ropes. Mills Lane steps in. He did not really go down.
Victor Valley.
And Victor Valley is saying no more, I believe. Victor Valley is in the ring saying no more. That's it. It is over.
Cooney here as a defeated fighter, but yet I'm very impressed with him.
He really does. You know, there was a big question about what this guy had and whether he was a guy who really deserved to be where he was. And I think he's really answered all the critics tonight.
I went 13 rounds with one of the top 5 in the history of the game, and I was in that fight. I always fought when the bell rang, I gave you all I got. The bell rang, I was looking to take care of business. I wanted to change that expression on your face. I wanted to weaken you and take you out. I always did it my whole life. And unfortunately, when, drinking took over a little bit, I lost some of that. I regret that. I regret those moments because that was never me. And I regret that for the fans as well as myself. When I lost Holmes, I told people I was sorry. I think because I couldn't express that for myself. Really, I was sorry because I didn't really show up 100%.
Cooney's missed title shot didn't stop him from championing his own life. Years after his loss to Holmes, Cooney found himself victorious in his battle against alcoholism.
One day I woke up, I'm in this beautiful home in the Hamptons, by myself, at 20 minutes to 11. And I say to myself, well, what happened to you, bro? Are you kidding? What? I quit that day. I gave it up, I put it down. The next day, 20 minutes to 11, I get chills when I tell you, I woke up the same way. And that day I got scared. And that was the day that I cried out, I needed some help. And the will to drink went away from me. And I'm here, 27 years later, without a drink, and I'm, you have a great life. If when I was 25, you would tell me that at my age now, I'd be the best time of my life. I'd tell you you're crazy, but it's the best time of my life. I have the opportunity today to work with a lot of kids, at-risk kids, and I get to explore those areas with them and grow in myself from back when I was a kid. And let them know that you don't have to carry that around with you for the rest of your life. But I get the chance now to pass that on to the next generation.